Have you ever seen a theremin? A theremin was invented nearly 100 years ago. It was used as a musical instrument, high-pitched squeal. The exciting thing is that one does not have to touch it. The theremin senses change in the electromagnetic field, also known as EMF, which surrounds it. As one places their hands close to the antennas, the instrument senses the EMF created around our hands, and the sound is emitted. This is similar to a REMPOD used by paranormal investigators to sense the presence of a spirit or entity. The REMPOD has just one antenna that senses an EMF change and then will light up a diode light on top of the unit. Some emit a sound as well. We are made up of energy. Our brains have millions of neurons that transmit this energy to every cell. For example, energy is transmitted from our brain to muscles to make them move as we desire. Energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only change form. Albert Einstein demonstrated this with his law of the conservation of energy. If we are to believe this, once we pass on, and our mortal body dies, where does our eternal energy go? Does our energy pass on to a spiritual dimension? Is it possible to move from a spiritual dimension to our physical one at will? This could be a religious topic discussed in a future video. However, for now, this is a topic that paranormal investigators research. The REMPOD is one of the tools used to investigate and research. There are many different REMPODs on the market. Some have a string of diode lights that can be set out, and as a spirit or entity gets closer, the lights on this string light up one at a time as the EMF changes. Another type is shaped like a pyramid with a red light on one side of it and a green light on the other. It helps answer yes and no questions posed. The green light glowing for yes and the red light illuminating for no. I may purchase and later review this one, but for now, the REMPOD I have can be used for the same thing. When asked a question, just ask the spirit to come close to it to set it off for a yes response, and ask the spirit to move away, and not trigger the REMPOD for a no answer. Although this particular REMPOD is on the expensive side, it is well worth it. It has a sensitivity setting button on top that can cycle how sensitive the REMPOD should be to EMF changes. The more sensitive it is set, the more lights will light up on top of the unit to indicate a more substantial change in EMF, and sense that change from a further distance. Along with that extra sensitivity, however, there is always a chance of detecting outside contaminating EMF activity caused by outside wiring, electrical indoor wiring, cell phone activity, and even contaminating EMF readings from the investigator's camera and other equipment. It is always best to use a setting in the middle and a separate EMF meter to scan the entire area first for any abnormal EMF readings caused by everyday, natural things. For low EMF readings found, there is a set button on this REMPOD that will set itself to 0 to take into account any low interference reading and record only the large EMF spikes caused by a spirit or entity. Another function I like about this newer version of this particular REMPOD is its ability to detect temperature fluctuation. There is a small blue diode in the center of the unit. This can be zeroed out to the ambient temperature, and when there is a sudden drop or spike in temperature, the unit can sense this and illuminate the blue light. I found this very useful, as can be seen in a previous video where an entity responded only to temperature change and had no EMF detectable. I received intelligent responses to questions, and only by a sudden temperature drop that not only could I feel, but registered on the REMPOD. It was extraordinary, and I have never had that kind of response or experience before. I have talked to some of my paranormal investigator friends and they have not experienced this either. If this REMPOD did not have that new feature, I would not have known I was getting responses to my questions. All in all, I highly recommend this particular REMPOD. As mentioned, it is expensive, about $150, give or take a bit, depending on where you purchase it from. It can be purchased from Amazon and other places that sell paranormal investigation equipment. Be sure to get the newest updated version with the temperature sensing. If you don't want to spend that much money on a REMPOD, in a future video, I will show you how to make one yourself, with items you can purchase online or in a local electronics store for much cheaper. I can build 2 for under $20 in supplies from Amazon. Stay tuned, and be sure to like and hit the subscribe button so you will be notified of new videos I post, and you won't miss out on the one where I show you how to build a REMPOD cheaper. I highly recommend this REMPOD. It is accurate in detecting both EMF changes and sudden temperature drops.